good people, good Christians, when they do all these things with the church and all that. I think they're good people. One of the things throughout my journey was that, what is God's name? And, I don't know, this doesn't really have to do much with deconversion, but, I thought it was an interesting thing. I always found it weird that they refer to the Abrahamic God as just simply God. I found it weird because, God is, a male deity, a chief deity usually, but, an important deity. And I found it weird that, the Abrahamic religions just called him God. Well, as I found out, God is just a generic term. It just is. And when I think about it, it kind of angers me. It angers me because it's such a weaseling thing. So what is God's name? Some people say Jehovah, although, from what I've read, Jehovah is a perversion of the name. So, his actual name is Yahweh, of course. It's spelled YWHW. No, wait, it's spelled YHWH. Of course, the original pronunciation is lost in time. So, but we usually call him Yahweh. And the reason that's important, people think that Muslims worship Allah. Well, I mean, they worship Yahweh, but they call him Allah. I think part of the reason why they refer to him as Allah, even though Allah is a generic term, but I think it's because in those nations, those Middle Eastern nations, they still, they fear him. Part of the reason why, Jews did not pronounce, Yahweh. They usually refer to him as El Shaddai or Adonai. Out of fear. Out of fear. Some people will say respect, but it's fear. Most likely fear, because when you think about it, as you read the Bible, this Yahweh fellow just, kills any. He has proven that he really hates humanity. And, as you read through, the Abrahamic faiths, going from, Judaism to Mormonism, you notice that the guy is just, he abandons one group for another and uses them. They're tools. They're tools. So they never said it because out of fear. Like, how dare you say my name? And one of the things I remember in the Bible was which they were carrying the Ark of the Covenant, and it's beginning to fall off. One of the guys tries to hold on to it so it won't fall over, and then good old Yahweh killed the guy. Yes. The guy who tried to save your most important document. The second version of the Ten Commandments. Yeah, he deserves to die for trying to save it. So, that's what I think. So, you know, people say that atheists are angry. Well, that depends. Am I angry that there is no God? No. And when I think about it, I'm glad that that I don't think that Yahweh exists. I highly doubt that Yahweh exists. I highly doubt that any God exists. And if there is a God, what makes it think that it's your God? And you know, I wanted to get back to the whole name thing because that's important. People say, you know, why don't you believe in God? And I think it's one of the most dishonest questions I've ever gotten. Because what they're really asking is not whether you believe in a God, whether you believe that there is a supernatural being that created the universe. Their main problem is that, why don't you believe in my God? Why won't you believe in Yahweh? You know, I usually respond with, when they ask me, why don't you believe in God? I usually say, which God? Because when you think about it, religious people of all groups make this assumption that their God is real, and that they don't take into account the fact that there are other religions that believe in a different God or gods. It's something like that that really annoys me. Why don't you believe in God? Well, I mean, you have to be more specific. I don't believe in a God because there's no evidence for it. If there really is God, I mean, it could be of, you know, different variations. It could be Yahweh. It could be, you know, Vishnu. Or maybe the real God is a combination of different gods that throughout history. Maybe we got bits and pieces of this God, and you know, we've written it. We've had separate accounts. One of the things they say is that, you know, eyewitness accounts are unreliable because people tell a different story. So that's a possibility. Another possibility is that the real God is not what we've ever known. It could be anything. Or maybe there isn't a God. But that's how it is for me. And you know, and you know, that's why I think Pascal's wager fails, because it doesn't take into account the fact that there are such a thing as other gods. I mean, such a thing as other religions that believe in other gods. It makes the assumption that Yahweh is the true God. And, you know, it also makes the assumption that you do lose nothing by believing. And there's several things wrong with that. There are several things wrong with that idea, because the idea that you have nothing to lose. And here's one more thing. Isn't Yahweh supposed to be omniscient? He knows what these people think. And he wouldn't know whether you were sincere or not. I mean, it's idiotic. It's idiotic to think that he wouldn't know whether you were a sincere believer or not. And, you know, whether you have nothing to lose, well, actually, you have a lot to lose. You'll lose your weekends. You have to give up 10% of your salary. you have to give up eating certain foods, drinking certain things, you know, doing certain activities. You know, people don't want to give up anything, and I think, in a sense, that's the reality when it comes to everyone. Is there a religion that does not interfere with your personal life? No, I mean, no, there isn't. I think that look, I'm not even here to convince, whether to become atheists. But I do want you to think about it. Think about why you believe. And I think you should care about whether the claims are true or not whether they feel good. And, if any atheists are out there, and you feel ostracized and alone, thing is, you're not alone. But I think we just have, you just have to think. You have to think about it. Because if you don't, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. So, this is my story. Thank you.